I love you, Bear Bear.
Oh, that's perfect, huh?
Yeah. And you don't want to be reaching for the sky right there while it's running, but
All I have to say, we're getting really fancy up in here.
let's wait until it's actually running.
Doesn't have the wires.
Yeah. Look at the size of this black widow. Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out, I'm having to clean these solar panels. Obviously, we're in summertime and we get the most solar production, but yesterday I mowed. When I mowed, it just kicked up it was a dust storm. It was really bad. So obviously the solar panels got covered, and then we're pretty much at full sun right now, and our max output, we should be getting at least 2,000 watts. Upwards to 3,000 watts is our max output, and we're only getting 1,600 roughly right now. So the reason why this is so important, granted if we had more, a larger array, this wouldn't be such an issue, something I would have to tackle maybe once a month versus every time I mow. But since we are running totally on solar and we have such a small solar array, every watt that we squeeze out of these panels is crucial.
This is the reason why we wanted our solar panels to be ground mounted versus having them mounted on the house or the barn, because of the ease of access and cleaning them. If they were up there, they definitely wouldn't be cleaned nearly as often.
So crazy. Just from cleaning the solar panels, we're now gaining an extra 400 to 500 watts, which is a huge difference. So very happy that's been done. But right now we're just working on finishing getting that fan installed, which it's proving to be a little bit more tricky than we had originally thought, just because there's so many wires and we're having to stuff them up into such a small space in the ceiling, but Spencer will get it done.
All right, so one thing I'm working on in this living room or new addition is figuring out where my outlets are going to go on this container wall, because obviously this is going to stay the way it is. So what I'm doing is just figuring out where my outlets are going to go for the TV. So obviously I have a power outlet, I have an Ethernet outlet, I have a pass-through because we're going to also do a wall-mounted big screen out here. So I'm going to have to do a pass-through to allow the cables to pass through so you don't see a bunch of cables running up the wall. Very excited, but there's been some obstacles with all of this. So obviously cutting these out, we had to decide whether or not we wanted to do valleys or the ridges. I think what we're going to do is the valleys, just because it makes it a little bit, keeps it, the wires tucked away a little bit better. It doesn't protrude off the wall quite as much. The only problem with that is, let me walk around to the other side. All right, and as far as the opposite wall goes, this is in the master bedroom, or master bathroom, excuse me. The problem is, since we're doing it, the outlet box is on the valleys of the container on the opposite side. It means it's the ridge on this side, which kicks the outlet box out a little bit more, which you just have to be mindful of where your studs are for the interior walls on the other side. So luckily, everything was not in the way. I had to move an outlet box a little bit further down than I would like, but it'll still be hidden behind the TV. So let me get to cutting out these outlet holes, and yeah, my favorite pastime, grinding.
All the outlet boxes for the living room are now installed. Obviously, we need to get all the electrical done in here, but the reason why we're doing this right now is all just so we can get power to that darn fan out there. Because the power has to come from the breaker panel all the way to this area and then over to next to that door just to get power to the fan. So it's quite the process. And this morning, something happened to Spencer.
Go to put on my shoes, and they're in the barn, so like I didn't think any bugs or anything would be in it. And apparently a wasp had crawled in my shoe over the night and stung the tip of my toe.
I don't know how this stuff always happens to you. Maybe they just like your scent or something.
That's why they sting me?
Well, no, that's why they're like just attracted to you and like to make homes in your shoes.
Alright, so it's getting dark, so we want to try out this fan before it gets too dark on me. So what I went ahead is just wired up my fan to this outlet right here. It is going to be wired up to this outlet box, but it's going to take some time, and it's already going to be dark before I can even get that entirely finished. I just want to try it out, so to make sure all my wiring inside that fan housing is good to go. So fingers crossed, let's give it a shot. All right, first the light.
Ooh, this is fancy.
This is nice.
This is so weird. Of course, the day that we get this up and running, it's been like a rainy day.
Overcast.
All right, you know what we gotta do?
Huh.
Precious rainwater that we should be catching right now. All the electrical in this living room is pretty much done now. Spencer got all the outlet boxes wired yesterday. All that he does need to do is finish wiring the switch box and the 2 exterior lights that we're going to be having out here. But before we can install those, what we need to do is finish up the soffit out there.
Show me a lesson and I've learned it. Show me a bridge, I probably burned it. Show me $1, yeah, I've earned it. Though I can't tell you where it went. Show me time I used to waste it. Show me whiskey, I still taste it. Show me hell, and hell I've raised it. That's just who I've always been. But if I could go back somehow and get one more time around, give me one more time around.